So, as most of you guys know, and I talked about this a little while ago, that apparently Paramount and Hasbro have announced they're going to be doing a Transformers movie universe. Why? Because that's so original nowadays, isn't it? So, here's the thing with this Transformers movie universe. They've apparently announced that one of the films that is going to be out there is I kid you not, a Bumblebee film. Now, let me say this. Bumblebee is one of the coolest Autobots ever, and if you're going to do a Transformers solo movie on any character, the ones you really focus on are Bumblebee, Grimlock, obviously. Grimlock and the Dinobots. I would love to see a Dinobot movie done right under Neil Marshall. I don't know, that just seems kind of like it fits to me, of Neil Marshall, the director of like such films as Dog Soldiers and The Descent, and a lot of action horror films. Like, I imagine he would, and he's done like the Black Sails movies, the TV show as well, and a few other things here and there. But I think he would be a cool pick for Transformers, for at least a Dinobots movie. But yeah, with this film, with a Bumblebee film, the thing is that what stories can you do? Because the Autobots are like essentially a team. The Autobots and Decepticons are essentially team characters, and even like I said, oh yeah, a Dinobot movie. Well, you kind of need more than Grimlock to make the Dinobots. And yeah, it'd be really hard to do it like a solo movie based around a single character, because they are made to be a team. That's a big thing. Now, I don't hate this idea. I really do not hate this idea for a movie series. Because again, when you think Transformers, who do you think? It's either when someone asks you, "Oh, what are some Transformers you think of?" Generally, people are going to say three of the following: Optimus Prime, Bumblebee, and Megatron. Also, Grimlock and Starscream, so that's 5. So yeah, I think it's a smart idea to at least do a film around Bumblebee in some capacity. But again, he's the scout. He's the guy who, he's also like the glue of the team. That's the other thing, is that he's like the team's glue. Now, the other thing with this film you have to look at is that, what story can you do with Bumblebee on his own? Now, the biggest one that comes to mind for Bumblebee in, doing his, for his own solo film is how'd he lose his voice. That's kind of the big thing, of the story of him losing his voice on Cybertron, and lost my train of thought. And yeah, him coming to terms with no longer being able to speak. So that's probably the movie they're probably going to go with, is the story of how Bumblebee lost his voice. So they'll, that's the one that'll probably be it, of how Bumblebee, what mission he undertook that, led him to be captured by Megatron, tortured, and then lose his voice and kind of deal with that. Now, I will say this about the Transformer films, is that the Transformer Extended Universe films, is that they are apparently getting a lot of good people to, outside of the main films, to work on some of these. Apparently Robert Kirkman was writing a script for one. They got several other people, but Robert Kirkman, the creator of Walking Dead, was like one of the major ones that just came to my mind. So yeah, I think it depends on what kind of story you do, and obviously that's the one you go with in this movie universe, at least. I would like to see, actually, if you could do a Bumblebee film, how I would do at least a Bumblebee solo film, is take the idea of maybe Bumblebee discovers this like Decepticon plot, and he's cut off from the rest of the Autobots, and now he has to take it on himself to shut down like this weapon, or some kind of weapon that the Decepticons are building, and he's cut off from the rest of the Autobots. He's low on ammo, and he's kind of like just behind enemy lines. Really, he's behind enemy lines, and he's the only one who can stop this machine from being used on the Earth, or if you want to put it on Cybertron, that can work too. So that's what would be my film, is that it's Bumblebee versus the odds. Because the thing about Bumblebee is that he's small, but he's brave. He's small, but he's got a lot of heart to him, or should I say spark to him, and he's willing to what was I going to say? He's willing to go the extra mile. He's willing, despite being, one of the smallest Autobots, as well as not one of the physically strongest, but he does, he's very quick-witted, he's very fast, and he's very think on his feet. He's a very think on his feet type character. So I think he could, think of a plan real quick and like MacGyver the shit out of something and go from there. But again, it's kind of tough because you always think of the Transformers on one big team. So yeah, to see a Bumblebee solo film, I wonder how that. I can only imagine how exactly that's going to play out. But yeah, so yeah, that's really all I can say about it. Other than I wouldn't say I'm optimistic because again, this Transformer movie track record so far has been what 0-4, soon to be 0-5. Yeah, so forgive me if I'm not exactly, totally 100% behind these movies. But still, I'm willing to give it the benefit of the doubt if you get the right creative team and the right group behind behind this film. Because it sounds like a cool idea of focusing on one Autobot, and maybe, this can branch out to give other characters in the Transformer universe their own solo films. They're not really, it's a single character, but again, I'd love to see a Dinobots movie, or a movie around the Wreckers, How about a cool adaptation of the IDW comic Last Stand of the Wreckers? That comic is awesome. What's another one that I think would... of course, a Dinobots film, like I said. Maybe even a Megatron film. Yeah, how about a movie about Megatron and how he rose to become leader of the Decepticons? Just do Spartacus with giant robots. That's literally Megatron's story. He's Spartacus. He's evil Spartacus. Yeah, that's what I should say. He's evil Spartacus that's a giant robot. That is how you do the Megatron origin story. Anyway, so once again, you guys tell me, what do you guys think of a Bumblebee film? Do you guys like the idea? Do you guys hate the idea? And what kind of Transformer films do you want to see in this Transformer anthology universe type thingy? Alright, well, once again, hope you all enjoyed this, and I will see you guys later.